Hey everybody, what's up? I felt compelled to do this late night upload because I posted this attempted kidnapping yesterday, and although it was a small clip, it really moved me. I couldn't believe that this little girl was going to be kidnapped in broad daylight by a loser. And thank God she fought back and he ditched efforts and he left. And he left in a van that she had already scoped out. She told her principal she knew somebody was following her already a week before. So even this little girl knew that there was something wrong with this man. Do you think he knew there was something wrong with him? And do you think there's rehabilitation for people like this? I really don't think that people like him should ever walk free. When you get kidnapping in the first degree, a lot of the times you can get special circumstances and get life in prison because kidnapping is pretty serious. And in this case, I'd say this attempted kidnapping is just as serious.
We are here to announce that we have caught the animal that tried to kidnap an 11-year-old girl this morning. At about 7 o'clock this morning, a white van pulled up to an 11-year-old girl, stopped the van, looked around, and then a man left that vehicle, ran towards the 11-year-old victim with something in his hand that was reported to be a knife. He grabbed her, picked her up, and tried to carry her into that van. She fought and she fought and she fought until finally she was able to break free from her would-be captor. We inundated the area with law enforcement as soon as we got the call. We had detectives in plainclothes. We had uniformed deputies. We went house to house. We're searching for surveillance video. We're searching for any witnesses in the area, because we knew we had a dangerous felon on the loose. We were able to finally, through these investigative efforts, identify the vehicle that was reported in the video that you saw, also get a tag number. We had several locations where we thought that this suspect would be. One was 211 Betty Road. When we got to 211 Betty Road, we were able to see that van, and we also arrested the suspect. I'm going to withhold the suspect's name for right now, but I will tell you that that van had been freshly painted. If you recall this morning, I talked about a silver bumper on the front of that van. Well, clearly this had been painted black, but you could tell it smelled like fresh paint and it ran like fresh paint. We obtained pictures from today, various pictures of this suspect in convenience stores, and in those photographs, the suspect is wearing the same clothes that he's wearing during this attempted abduction. The victim at the time of the attempted abduction was playing with blue slime as a toy. She had blue slime and it was all in her hands. The suspect, when we caught him, had blue slime all over his own arms. So as you can see, our investigators have been very busy all day, tracking the vehicle, obtaining the tag, getting the addresses, gathering evidence, and then making the arrest on a 30-year-old male. And this 30-year-old male will be charged with attempted kidnapping, with aggravated assault with a knife. This 30-year-old male has an extensive criminal history, including but not limited to sexual offenses with a child. We're still looking at the history. It is again rather long. We're trying to piece it together, figure out which ones of those were convictions and which one of those are still awaiting adjudication. As I mentioned before, we had 50 deputies at least in the area. We had our bicycle unit out there, and when you have this many deputies, when you have this type of a response, you're able to go to every door, you're able to go and look for every video, and ultimately we were able to get the tag number. I'm very proud of the efforts of this 𝑘𝰵 County Sheriff's Office, but I cannot help to think that this could have ended very differently. Had this 11-year-old victim not thought to fight and to just never give up, then this could have ended terribly. Why else do you think that this man stopped his van and tried to pick her up and take her into that van? It doesn't take a genius to figure out what his intentions were, but they were not good. So a life was saved. 11-year-old is doing okay right now. Some scratches, a little bit of mental trauma, but she and her mother are working through this. I told her mother when I talked to her that we were going to have every single deputy available. This was the #1 priority case. And within just a couple of hours, the men and women at Escambia County Sheriff's Office were able to identify the car, seize the car, and seize and arrest this animal so that he will never be free to do this again. Now, we're also looking and talking to our partners to see if they have similar cases. Our concern is this wasn't his first try. As you know, from our earlier press conference, she talked to this man approached her probably 2 weeks ago, made her feel uncomfortable. A sixth sense, she knew something was wrong. She went and told her parents, she went and told her teachers, told her principal. And this man came back again. This is a man that needs to be off the streets. This is a man we got off the street because of the good work at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. Now, I do not want to jeopardize the investigation. We did want to do this press conference to let you know that we did have a suspect in custody. But what I don't want to do is jeopardize it, so I can't give you the name of the suspect yet. And the picture, we're still working on getting it over here. But because we want to get this information to you in a timely fashion so that the residents of Escambia County know that this animal is off the street. And we can once again applaud the efforts and the resilience of an 11-year-old girl. Any questions?
Sure, if I would ask, I would assume since the video surfaced and we had that 1 o'clock news conference that there was a lot of anxiety out in the community to not only do this little girl a service to serve and protect her family, but to other kids who intended on waiting out on the bus stop tomorrow morning. What's that like for you guys?
Well, again, it feels good anytime you get a violent criminal off the street. We all saw the video, the chilling video, 2 of them. We saw what is taking place, and when we see these things, we put ourselves and our own family in that situation, and we're concerned. We're concerned for our safety. This rarely happens. And that's why I said this morning that when I saw the video, I was just shocked that that happened here in Escambia County. But to be able to say to the community that we put this guy in jail and that he's going to stay in jail, it feels good. Our job is to protect our community. And the men and women that are around you here, they take that job very serious. Not for a second did they relax. Half these people didn't eat lunch. They worked throughout the day to make sure, because we understand that we only had a short period of time. We wanted to make sure that they didn't ditch this van, that they didn't leave town. And that's why what you see here is you saw an effort. You saw black paint on a silver chrome that wasn't fooling anyone. You saw the blue goo, the slime that's on the suspect that the victim had. You're not kidding anyone. We know who you are. We know you're an animal. And we also know you're under arrest.
You had mentioned the Betty Road address. Was that his home address making the arrest there in the van? Was that where this guy was living?
Yes, that was. But keep in mind, I was upstairs with our investigators, and they had names and vehicles and addresses all over every board in our what I'll call our war room. But the Betty Road address was his home address. Yes, yes, sir.
Is the suspect talking at all, cooperating with investigators? Is he answering any questions? And was he taken into custody without incident?
He was taken into custody without incident. He is not talking right now. He's preparing to be walked across the street to the Escambia County Jail. That's all he's doing right now.
You mentioned the girl mentioned this incident 2 weeks ago. Did the school contact you guys? Did the family contact y'all? And if not, what is the protocol for something like that?
This is the first that we heard about that today. I know that we're having some conversations with the school. Ms. Payne was here earlier, and you'd have to ask them about their protocol. I don't know that we were made aware. In fact, I don't believe we were made aware of the initial incident until it took place today.
Do you encourage people to report things like this, incidents that they make them feel uncomfortable?
I absolutely would. We talked a little bit about a sixth sense, something that makes you feel like you're not safe. And we would encourage parents to have that discussion with their children. We would encourage teachers to have that discussion with your students, principals to have that discussion with your teachers. And now is a great platform for me to say, talk to them about their own safety. And again, talk to them. And I mentioned it earlier, if the #1 headline isn't fight, 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 like your life depends on it, then I don't know what else you should put in there. Any more questions? Yes, ma'am.
You said he will be charged. Has he been charged, arrested, booked?
No, he's not been booked. He is upstairs. He's not going anywhere. He is being prepared. We are working on the final, the parts of the arrest warrant. And again, those charges are going to be attempted kidnapping, which we all saw, aggravated assault with a weapon, which is the knife, and then simple battery, which is the least of his concerns.
Well, what's your message to the young girl tonight? I know you spoke with her earlier, but if she's watching tonight, what do you want to tell her?
That you're going to be okay. That you have gone through something that fortunately no one should have to go through, and very few do have to go through. My message to her is that she's my hero. My message is that she did not give up. She did the right thing. She fought and she fought and she fought, and she never gave up. And then she went straight to her parents, which she should have done, told her parents what was going on, who in turn contacted the 𝑘'Ambia County Sheriff's Office, and we were able to muster 50 deputies in a really short time. And then we got the information out so quickly that we had our suspect trying to paint his car, because we, using our media partners, were able to get that information out as soon as we possibly can.
I was going to ask, what would your message be to parents going to bed tonight knowing they have to send their kids to the bus stop tomorrow morning? Is this sort of a good reminder to sort of re-go over that safety game plan at the bus stop?
I think so. I think that not just for parents. This is a good time for schools. In your classroom, if I was a teacher, I would say, hey, let's talk about your bus stop. Let's talk about, does anyone not feel safe at their bus stop? And I know that they do that. We have great teachers here in 𝑘'Ambia County. So my message to the parents would be, pay attention to what's going on. You don't have to really dig too deep into this to know what could have happened. If you saw the video and that doesn't shake you or wake you, then I'm not sure what will. One more question.
What again was that time, getting the man in custody?
Let's see here, probably about 6 hours later. We got the call about 7 o'clock in the morning. We mustered quite a few people. We had a press conference. I'd say probably within 8 hours, we were on this particular suspect, and we moved everyone to this. We had surveillance going on, not just the Betty Road address, but on many other addresses as well. We were going to make sure that once we identified the suspect, he was not going to get away.
But that he was taken into custody, do we have a time on that?
I did be on the arrest report. It's probably going to be about 5 o'clock, something like that. Go ahead.
There's been a man booked into jail in Hector, Javier, Calderon, Madrid. Can you confirm that's the suspect?
No, that's not him.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and again, as soon as we have the photograph, we're going to put it on our Facebook page. And again, it's part of the continuing investigation, and we feel like if we put that picture out within the next hour or so, it may well compromise that. As you can imagine, without getting into too many details, we do anticipate putting the picture out, and when we put the picture out, we will put the name out. So we're going to be as open and transparent as we possibly can. And with that, we are done, and I appreciate your time.
I really think they should throw the book at this guy. What was he going to do? I think we deserve some answers. And before I let you guys go, I wanted to give you a quick update on Winter 𝑾𝑰𝑵𝑚𝑬 status. Winter 𝑾𝑰𝑵𝑚𝑬 is the 8-year-old daughter of Sarah 𝑾𝑰𝑵𝑚𝑬. Last Monday, Sarah had an incident where she decided to take the life of her 10-month-old son and attempt to take the life of her 8-year-old daughter. But Winter's a warrior, and despite being stabbed 50 times, she is now off the ventilator, and she was able to hug her daddy yesterday. Unfortunately, Winter's stepdad won't ever get to do that again. He won't get to hug his son Zell ever again, and as of right now, he's really struggling with the loss of his son. Not only has John lost Zell, but he's essentially lost Sarah and Winter too. He also has now incurred costs of the crime scene cleanup that have racked up over $20,000 in debt. And this all just started. This doesn't even include a funeral. So the family has reached out and asked me to help not only Zell, but help Winter and her father, who has had to come from out of state to watch her and make sure that she overcomes this. Obviously, Winter's a warrior, and this won't stop her. Unfortunately, we lost Zell, but he will always be remembered, at least in my memory. And as somebody who's spoken to people who have lost their children to murders. They want their children to be remembered, so they know that they didn't die in vain. So let's remember him. Once again, thank you for joining me tonight, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Be safe, guys. Good night.